expression.
Right. And could you, in a year or two's time, you know, start paying again and going, I'd like to come?
No,
once you're out, you are out.
Should I won't be.
No, but should you?
But should I choose to then go, oh, I've made a big mistake, I'm so sorry, I really want to be a nurse and give these medications again as part of my job. So doctors are drug prescribers, nurses are drug administrators. Yeah. We administer drugs that the doctors prescribe. Mm. So hence we have to know what we're doing, right? Mm. So if I want to go back to nursing, I would have to do a back to nursing course, which to my understanding, it's fresh territory for me, is about an 18-month refresher course, which I don't really want to do.
So it's a big thing, isn't it? It's a very big thing saying I resign from the commission, however you want to put it.
Absolutely. And as an experienced nurse, now I appreciate there are many more experienced nurses than I, and that's absolutely fine. I'm only 52. I'm not responsible.
Okay, this is Richard talking to a nurse. This is, I don't want to say his last name wrong, so just wait until I get to know him a little better. I'm making a series to Richard, and he's talking to this nurse right now in this video. I just had to go into video 3 because I noticed I went past my 46 minutes. Okay, as he's talking to this nurse, I just keep thinking of things. That's why I like doing it this way. I just listen. As I'm hearing things, I'm going to just throw them out there. Hopefully, Richard, you'll come to these videos. I will try to get them to you. A lot of times I do go and post them on people's accounts, but I never usually hear back from anyone. I'm going to be showing you the mineral streets in a lot of the videos that I'm going to be showing you. These mineral streets are critically important for me to show you because, first of all, they're all over above your head. All right, so don't think that it's just they're over my head and over my house or son. A lot of people think that. They think that I'm the only one that is able to see them. No, we can all see them. I can see them over all your heads. What you guys are talking about with this thing that I'm not able to even mention the name of, the thing that must remain nameless. Trying to think of how I can best word it. All right, what I was talking about earlier about laying heavy metals and minerals in the lower atmosphere. So between the ground and the lower atmosphere, you have all these heavy metals and minerals. So you're able to keep the moisture down, you know, and any other particles that you want as well, because you can certainly make your mixture of heavy metals and mineral carbons. You can make them that certain heavy metals and minerals can rise up through it, depending on their values. And then whatever you want to stay below, you can make stay below. You can make it, the moisture come up to a certain point and then release and come back down to the ground. We call it rain. All these things are controlled. We always called them in our lifetimes, mine in your lifetimes, but it wasn't always this way. We call it weather, rain in this situation here. But we as human beings have to understand that we are controlling all of this, what we call weather, all of it. The thunder, the lightning, the tornadoes, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, all of it, we control it. And you're going to have a hard time with that, just like you're going to have a hard time with a lot of the things I'm saying to you. But it's critically important that I get this out to you. Now, because I'm saying them with my words, as I explained in the last video, in video 1, then I don't want you to believe the words that are coming out of my mouth. I really just have to say them so that you'll know what you're looking at when you go look. And I'm not trying to program you myself, and I'm not trying to guide you in any way, really. I'm just putting it out there so that when you see it, you say, oh, I get it. I see what he was saying. Don't have to agree with me about what you're seeing. I'm sure you will. But if you don't, that's okay too. We can talk about it openly. I'm learning to calm down in my old age a little bit myself, so I'm not going to be too much of a dick about it. But whatever the case may be, it's all very self-explanatory when you go and look at the true creator's work, false creator / creator's work. Okay, so you're getting keeping all the moisture in between your carbon level and the ground level. And by doing that, you're causing millions and millions of funguses to thrive. Some of those funguses, one of them named, what you guys are talking about now, thousands of more that we could name just over the last couple hundred years. We could talk about pneumonias a little bit, and flus, viruses, and sicknesses, ailments. We were able to talk about them a little bit, but not too much. But you get what I'm saying, right? So if you wanted to keep all the fungus and make everything more fungusy down here and everywhere, not just in our lungs, but I'm saying everywhere, our bodies, the soils, the plant life, the trees, everything's going to get more fungusy. If it's happening very slowly over a long period of time, people don't really notice. They call it evolution. No such thing as evolution, real evolution that we think of it anyway. There's human interference and everything that causes evolution. And I just mentioned that real quick too, is that since I'm going to be saying all kinds of other things in these first few videos that you're going to be like, no fucking way. But yeah, true. Okay, so the false creator / creator, I call him, divided to build the bio realm. But what he divided was only the true creator's work. And when you look at the true creator's work, you'll see that it was feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. So if that's all that the false creator / creator had built was feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, and that's all you're going to see in and everywhere that you look, and that's the great part about it too, is that's the evidence that we would need in order to prove this to ourselves, to be able to prove all these things, okay? So it's important that everyone looks. You can't just take my word on anything, and I wouldn't expect anybody to anyway. But don't be afraid to look when you are looking, because that's how we're going to get there faster. That's how we're going to get things right faster, by everybody going to look. It's not in the camera. It's not in the screen that you're watching now. It's all around us. And if people don't take their heads out of the screen, then they won't find it. Just trying to think about how I can talk about certain things without losing the channel and the videos. Okay, so humans are responsible for all other biospecies that have come along, and let's say synthetic species too. Let's just stick to the bios. All right, so humans are responsible for all biospecies that have come along after the false creator / creator's original build of feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast biospecies. After that build, humans, I don't know how long after the build, I got to go back and look around a little bit, but sometime after that original build, humans went and divided Adam ourselves. And because we stole the false creator / creator's work, and we learned that we could divide Adam ourselves. So when we started dividing Adam ourselves, next thing you know, we have trees and plant life and all these things that are not in the true creator's build. They're not in the true creator's work. You can look all you fucking want. You're not going to find images of flowers, trees, bushes, any kind of plant life in any kind of plant life or any other life or any rock or the moon, nor anywhere else that you look. It's not going to happen. I've been looking for years. But go and look anyways and confirm it for yourself. But what does it tell you when you see this? And then also all the other species that are missing, whatever, giraffes, that's why I mentioned the giraffe in the last video. If you see a giraffe in a fucking haystack or in a lawn or whatever, you know. I also don't like to collect anything from anything that has human influence, but when I tell you that humans are laying out the mineral streets, then as we've known for the last 5-6 years, that does have human influence, but you don't know that. You just think clouds are clouds. You just think those jets that are fucking dumping all that shit out, you don't even see them, right? And if you don't see them, don't feel bad, because nobody else sees them either. There's fucking 7.8 billion zombie slaves who refuse to look, because it's not just in our countries. It's all over this earth. They're running these trails. Anyone who cannot afford to seed their own skies will seed them for you. because we want to control the weather. We've been doing this all along for a long, long time. We're just only doing it out of jets for the last, 75 years, probably 100 years, and then the whole geoengineering project took off and picked up under Reagan, I believe, was the first president that they really took off. He called it, I don't know, space program or whatever. Again, outer space nonsense lies in order to get your money to spend it on doing the mineral streets and all the things that the mineral streets do. Because there's higher atmosphere, there's upper atmosphere layouts. Under Obama, everyone got more familiar with them. Under Bush, people got familiar with them because when we went into Iraq, we started spraying over those countries big time under Bush Jr. So when we started spraying those guys, it was funny because if you go look back at those war stories during the Iraqi war, and you might have to listen to a lot of bullshit stories and lies about other shit that have to do with blood and gore and us killing a lot of people. That part's true. But there's a lot of lies mixed up on why and that it means nothing. Those would be the lies. That we don't have a problem with it and that it's no big deal. Those would be the lies. But anyways, they had two things that happened during that war. There was two wars that we used this technology in. One of them was called the God sound, the God noise, the God weapon, they called it. They had all these names for it. What it was sending out sine waves to the soldiers on the other side, telling them to put down their weapons and come out and be killed in some cases, telling them to turn their guns on their own people in other cases. And these soldiers, some of them fought it and didn't do it. Some of them didn't fight it and they did it. They didn't fight it hard enough, or maybe they didn't have the willpower to fight it or whatever. But but the ones that beat it said, I know what he was going through. It was really weird. We heard this fucking noise that sounded like thunder. Some described it as a sound like thunder. It was not the whistling or the ee. It wasn't those sounds that you would normally contribute to a sine wave noise. This sounded like a thunder noise is what they described. And then in that thunder noise, you listen to these guys describe it, and they're describing, and they were hearing the words. Don't do this. This is Allah, and Allah wants you to turn your weapon on your people next to you, and all this kind of thing, So we know that this is all possible. They've done this. They've done this with drugs over the years, and remember, go look up Bill Cooper, William Cooper, Bill Cooper. Unbelievable how many psyops we bought into over the years with Bill Cooper. He was, I don't know, I'm going to get into it. But anyways, so we buy into all these fucking lies, all these bullshit stories. And these bullshit stories that you guys are on, that you're on right now, the you know what and the you know what. But we've been doing all these other way worse ones that are way worse and way bigger. I mean, you got mineral streets going on, being dumped above your head that are controlling your light, controlling the fact that you cannot provide vitamin D for not only your garden but for yourself. In your family, your body will not create vitamin D properly because you don't have the proper sunlight. This is a fucking fact, man. This is not me guessing. I don't need to be a scientist. I can see with my eyes what they're doing. I know what would happen if they laid out a heavy metal carbon layer, right? Heavy metal mineral carbon layers, and they were, all right, so, and then how do they push them around? How do they steer them? Gee, I wonder. All the antennas that you're bitching about, bitching about for the wrong reasons. Yes, the cell phones, put them down, throw them in the trash. You don't need them. But you're not seeing the bigger picture, Richard. You're not seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we can all communicate with each other using the true Creator's energy. We always had this technology. We always knew it before they brought us the Bibles, before they brought us everything else. Then they told us we had to go to a spiritual leader in order for that spiritual leader to reach out to God and talk to God for no. Not only that, but we can talk to each other because it's not going to be talking. It's not going to be the words that I'm using right now in order to communicate with each other. But we do it accidentally a lot of times too. I'll put it this way too, and I'll mention this because I like mentioning shit that sounds, oh boy, this guy's really fucking out there. All right, so when at different times when I've used the true creator's energy to go in and communicate, because there's a difference between communicating in it and traveling in it, and I'll explain all that stuff in future videos. But anyways, one of the times, several of the times actually, that I went in to communicate using the system, I'll compare it to this. Like when you watch in spiritual movies and they show somebody that is hearing from a lot of different spirits at the same time, which I'll tell you is all nonsense. It doesn't work that way. But they're hearing from a lot of different spirits at the same time. Well, in the movies, they make it seem like you'd be hearing human voices. Human voices, these words would be coming out. You don't need it. The words are not even necessary in that energy. In that energy, we can communicate without these words. We'll know what they mean. We'll know it by feeling, I'll describe it as something of that along those lines, right? But what I also noticed while I was in there using that communication system, that's what I'm calling it, just to be sarcastic. But it's the true creator's energy. I'm just using it to try and communicate with others, is what I've been doing. All right, well, there are a lot of people out there who are all praying to a God that's not there. They're praying to a God that's first of all, the true creator, just to let you know, and false creator/creator don't care anything about us as a conscious bio species. They're not going to save us. They're not, there's no care about it. They've been watching for a long time. They know and understand. There's no care about it. True creator doesn't care that the false creator/creator stole his work, and the false creator/creator doesn't care that humans stole their work. So just to let you know, there's no energy that tells me that ever, and I've never seen that. So that means it's all in our fucking heads. It's all been pushed into our heads that there's a vengeful God out there that will strike you down, and there's Satan in the other situation. There's Satan he'll get you, and all that. It's fucking scare tactics, and it was all a bunch of shit. So when they talked about spirituality and all those in the movies, you hear all the spirits talking, and the person who's hearing all the ghosts, because that, again, all lies, and you're hearing the ghosts speak and all this stuff, and things like this. No, those would be programs that you had and you heard them come back, but that's in your conscious mind. It's not even, even if it was in your subconscious mind, it would be better than being in your conscious mind. In other words, at least you'd have reason for believing it. But if it's in your conscious mind, then you know it's a lie right off the fucking bat, right? But if it's in your subconscious mind that you're lying, then, okay, I'll let you off the hook on that. But once you go see the system and you see it all, you're going to know, okay, well, that was all bullshit. But when I entered the system, I did hear everybody using words like we're using, just human words, English language, all different languages that I didn't even speak. And they were praying to gods and Allahs, and they were praying in the energy, but it was not going to fall on anybody. If we were all there using the same energy, then we would answer each other. We could answer each other, is my point. So they were not in there sending their energy to me in that situation. There were, lots of them. I don't know how many. It was overwhelming, just like they do say in the movies. You're hearing, you're hearing all these all these different problems and that everyone's having. Everything. Yeah, I guess that part of it's right, but those you can shut them off and turn them on like this. Just also to let you know. Because in the true creator's energy, everything is one. Time is all one. Everything is all one. And even communication with each other is just communication with ourselves, because we're all one in the energy, in the true creator's energy. We are only divided as biospecies. The false creator/creator's division was every divide. I'll show you some examples of it later in a stone and in other things, but I wanted to just mention those few things while I got a few minutes to talk about it. So yeah, so all this shit, again, back to your story here with the nurse here talking stuff. We got screwed over by the entire industry, but we can go back to the food industries also, causing the same chronic ailments, working together with all these other industries, working with the war machine that's now about to nuclearize, a good quarter of the system. So a good quarter of this earth is going to get bombarded by penises that are going to be filled with poisons. But that's still not going to do a full reset. And then even that's only a small percentage, because like I said, only 1% is going to take us out. But that's I'm not making an excuse and saying, oh, shoosh, good thing. No, that's not what I'm saying. My point is more of, well, we're killing this many hundreds of million with diabetes. We're killing this many hundreds of thousands with cancers, and this many hundreds of thousands with these cancers. We're killing these many millions with this. We're killing it, and then so we're killing everyone, even the ones that they falsely seem to want to educate, right? Because they're involved in it as well. Like I'll go use an example of President Obama standing at the podium, or Bush, because there's pictures of both of them and videos of them, and the camera's aimed up at their face, and all up above their head are the fucking Mineral Street jets going all over the place. They're not military jets. They're not fucking planes leaving the airport. Those, anybody who knows and who's been looking for the last 15 years can know the difference between a regular airplane, a regular jet, and a Mineral Street jet, right? We all know the difference between them, the colors, the shape of them, the way they fly, the sound of them, everything. They're just easy to spot now. But you have to be someone who's actually interested in looking. And it's very surprising that 7.8 billion people are afraid to look. Back to the Iraqi story. So when they were in Iraq doing the Mineral Streets, they did the God sounds, the God weapon. And then they also did the Mineral Streets everywhere. And there were a lot of people saying that we were poisoning them. The United States is poisoning us from their jets. And the United States military is like, they don't know what exhaust streams look like. They don't know condensation trails, right? They don't know condensation. Right? That's exactly what they did too, because they were like, they don't know condensation trails look like that. I don't know what the fuck these dumb Iraqis. It's so fucked up. And then the average American doesn't look either, so they don't fucking know. They don't know what they're talking about. God weapon. What the hell these fucking crazy Iraqis? Well, I'll tell you what, they were not crazy. We're all fucking the nuts. Everyone is. But that's what it was. I mean, come on, you're over a very hot part of the country in the hottest time of the year, and you're telling people they're ice crystals and condensation trails coming out of a fucking 900-degree temperature, It's so fucked up. All right, let's see if I can do this again and just shut up for 5 minutes. And this stupid thing.
Power on.
The very experienced nurse, having done a great deal of things in my career, then in the state of the NHS at the moment, it's not great that experienced nurses like myself are choosing no longer to take part in the service. It weakens the service.
Yes.
However, I would like to make it clear that by no way does it take away any of my knowledge, my experience, my degrees, my qualifications. As a valid member of society, and also one that can instruct others. And also, does it in no way invalidate or denigrate the patients I've looked after, the peers I've worked with.
I mean, why would it? You're just you could be retiring, couldn't you, for all sorts of reasons?
So
what are you going to do now then?
Well, very simply, I choose to be solution focused. So I'm not taking my my skills and resources out of the public. What I'm choosing to do is create my own company interest charity. So a charity so I have a company called beingwell.me.
We have
as a restorative health coach.
Let me put your website up on the screen here. Let me see.
Thank you so very much. And basically, myself and a group of members of the public who have been working with me have chosen to create a community interest charity to invest back in the community that which I feel is lacking from the state-regulated health services. So, as you know, my conversation is the soil in the ground and which your crops is grown in must reflect the soil in your gut if you want to maintain great health. So things being created, crops being created in petrochemical fields of herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, that degenerates our own immune system, the conversation being very much natural immunity. So encouraging, educating, empowering people to how to grow your own soil, how to grow your own foods, and creating your own food security gardens in your own backyard. In my own backyard, I am creating that model and have a whole team that's helped us to do that, of which the website reflects, and also create multimedia platforms for traditional artisan skills, things we may need in 100 years, like blacksmiths, leathersmiths. Gosh, there's so many things we may need that technology is taken away from us, but also the creation of natural therapy polyclinics in my local area in Essex. So acupuncturists, acupressurists, acupressure, be it any non-allopathic Western medicine skills which actually have survived for thousands of years because they work, and allow the public to actually gain access to those. So as well as a multimedia platform to get the information out there, to educate and empower people to do as much as they can in their own communities, in their own families, as individuals, to look after their best health to the greatest benefit of all.
Right. So this is a charitable organisation with a very holistic approach to healthy living through food and the process of growing food, and then the other related alternative medicines and that sort of thing, all encompassed in one ethos, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And so we are presently going for a company interest charity application. So we have to register with Companies House. So on the Being Well website, you can read all about it. And there is a sign the petition, support the CIC application. So the public can simply go to the website, not asking for money, not asking for donations. You can just register your interest, register your support for such a venture with your name and your email address. And when we go for the CIC application with Companies House, you are then able to, we can then say, look, loads of people want this. We want to see it happen. They want to see it happen, and just support the idea of it actually coming to fruition. And then as soon as we've got the CIC application and as we grow, we will be able to contact those people again and say, hey, look, we've done all this. We're growing in Essex. Once we've created proof of concepts and it's working, then what we want to do is be able to, basically share this across the nation and internationally as people want to get involved with it. And people can, as a multimedia platform, the opportunity for people to keep involved and, see it develop and see what's required, etc. I think is really key for transparency. Now, just to be clear and transparent, Being Well Me is me, so I'm a restorative health coach, so people on the website can basically engage me as a restorative health coach. And my company is supporting the charity, which is Being Well also, which is the other things I've just stated. I believe it's really important that if we just start moaning and going, things aren't right, we need change, etc., and not do anything about it, that's not actually dealing with the problem. So I choose to use all my previous knowledge and experience, which is vast, because I've studied a great deal of things outside of Western medicine, so the acupuncture, the acupressure, etc., plant medicines, herbs, nutrition, kinesiology, etc., use all that to basically pass this knowledge, skills, and abilities on, because I'm getting a bit on in my own way, to ensure that as I remove myself from the service, which is the health service at the moment, I'm still bigger and offering more to the community because I'm no longer restrained by the Nursing Midwifery Council's not code of conduct, because the code of conduct is very good, by what I'm going to install, my opinion, double standards, because it's not in the interest of the public that we don't question as a profession what we're doing.
So, I mean, from what you described there, is that we seem to have a situation, and I would agree with you, that we've had a lot of issues now with trust in terms of Big Pharma itself, delivered to patients who have an expectation for good health, and that what we're sort of, it may be that the dreadful situation we've gone through with the pandemic, in a way, is offering up as a gift to not to say that anyone wanted what we've had, but as a silver lining to the terrible part of it is that we're starting to perhaps think of a different way that we should have been thinking about many years ago, to health, to restorative health, to looking after ourselves in the first place by what we eat. And very much sort of going back, in a way, 150 years before a lot of this large corporate rot came in and decided, no, we've got a better way of doing things. You don't have to worry about it. We'll do all the research. You don't even have to ask us what's in this stuff. Just take it. Oh, and by the way, that's this much money. Thanks very much. Whereas now it seems grassroots up again. We need to sort of effectively start again and take back, as I keep saying, take back the responsibility, stop farming it out to somebody else, and that we, relearn those skills that once we knew as members of society that have seemed to have been removed. And what your initiative is very much part of that. Is that a good synopsis?
Absolutely perfect synopsis.
I thought you were going to say a load of old rubbish. I got it all wrong.
Yeah, the problem is that they made having a garden is now illegal. You can't have a garden anymore. They're going to make everything illegal. So all the things that you guys are talking about, chickens are going to be made illegal because of the bird flu. Having a fireplace, chimney, burning wood to keep yourselves warm and keep your family warm when you don't have any other energy to use is going to also be illegal. Eating clean food is going to be illegal. So I'll be back.